During the 70s, the music inn continued to evolve, and major bands were coming through town. We're talking about the Kinks, the Band, America, the Byrds, James Taylor, of course, Bonnie Raitt, even Bruce Springsteen played at the music inn. And during all that time, the unofficial staff photographer was a man named Lee Everett. And we're so fortunate today to have Lee with us here on Workshop Live TV. Lee, thanks for joining us.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure.
Thanks. Well, before we get started on all your fantastic photography, can you just tell me a little bit about what it was like just to be there?
It was very exciting. It was a wonderful time for the music, and that venue was special because it was an outdoor amphitheater. The sound was fabulous, and it was just a exciting time. Everybody was very mellow and had a good time. Was there to have a good time.
Nice. But how'd you get the gig?
I was hired to work on the Music Inn initially to help nail it back together when it reopened. And by being there and actually living there for a little bit, I got to know David Rothstein, who owned it at the time, and he asked me to get a few pictures, and it sort of evolved from there, and I continued during my stay while it was open until '79 to taking pictures, which was great.
Oh, nice. A career evolved for you out of your stay at the Music Inn.
Yeah, it was basically the beginning. I had done photography previously, but it gave me a specialty that I really loved, and I continued working at it, and to this day I'm shooting performance quite a bit. It's one of my loves.
Nice. And do you have a favorite moment from the Music Inn?
There were so many, but I think one of them is being backstage with the band and kind of getting, the vibe back there was just wonderful, and seeing them all kidding around, and Paul Butterfield was there, and he got up and jammed with them, and it was just fun, just a great time.
Have you been able to keep in touch with any of them?
Well, I still know some casually. I've given photographs from the Music Inn to a lot of these performers when I shot them again later, and they all said how much they loved the Music Inn, and they signed a few pictures and things, and it was kind of nice, to getting their view on the Music Inn.
Did you know that you were in sort of a bubble of time?
Well, not at the time, but now looking back at it, it was just a terrific era for music, and there was so much excitement and love in the air, and it showed, if people felt it.
Great. How about, do you have a favorite picture from that time?
I have a lot that I like. I think actually Muddy Waters on stage was one of the more exciting. I was shooting mostly black and white back then. And there were quite a few. I have Jesse Colin Young on stage, and there's kind of a neat shot of him. You can feel the energy because I'm pretty up close and personal.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Sounds like a good gig.
Yeah, it was fun.
Well, Lee, thanks very much for joining us here
My
at Workshop
pleasure.
Live TV. I really appreciate it. Workshop Live keyboard teacher Donald Sosin can be found performing from New York City's Lincoln Center all the way to the grand opera houses of Europe. We sat down with Donald in our teacher's lounge, and this is what he told us about the power of silence in music.
Music is life. All life is musical. We are rhythmic. Our physiology is inextricably bound to rhythm and to the universe in terms of vibration. We are nothing but vibration. Underneath the vibration, we are silence. At the basis of creation, there is nothing but a pure field of silence, unbounded, full potential of silence, called the unified field in physics, called Brahman in the Vedic literature. Connection with that silence is very, very powerful, because out of that comes the possibility of producing any kind of effect that we want to in the relative world, in the world of change. So when you're in contact with that, then I think your interests in different types of music expand. I'm listening to a much more eclectic range of music than I was at 17 or 18 years old. I was interested at that time in Beatles and in Cream and Jimi Hendrix and Prokofiev and Stravinsky and Karl Orff and Bach and Beethoven. But now I also listen to a lot of Celtic music and a lot of Indian music. I listen to much more jazz now than I ever did. And I think it took a long time for me to get into jazz and to be able to play it, never having really studied it the way kids who go to Berkeley or who study with the teachers on WorkshopLive can get a chance to hook up with a great jazz guitarist or a great jazz keyboard player. So this is very powerful stuff. So if you're giving your attention to the process of somebody who is an expert at what they're doing, you're getting that on some level.
Thanks for giving so much back, Donald. I love the way he tickles those ivories. And if you ever want to take a keyboard lesson from Donald Sosin, go to WorkshopLive.com.
This is Tish. She's a busy mom, balancing it all. Home, job, kids, errands. It takes discipline, focus, and timing. But Mom has a secret.